for us. Jonah, this is the, am I right in saying, the only head-to-head debate between the two candidates in this election?
Yes, it's the only time the two candidates, Vladimir Zelensky, the comedian, and the President, Poroshenko, have been in the same place at the same time. Things have just got underway here. And if I just show you behind me here, if I just let our cameraman come through, you'll see originally there were two stages set up, one at each end of the football pitch. You can see one there and one at the other end, because this is normally a football stadium. But what has just happened is that President Poroshenko has gone back to join Mr. Zelensky on that stadium, on that stage back there. And Mr. Zelensky is now giving his opening words, and perhaps we're having a little bit of a taste of why people don't do big political debates in football stadiums, because whenever Mr. Zelensky was speaking, well, as you can imagine, some pretty loud booing from this half of the pitch over here. That's the Petro Poroshenko supporters. So things have just got underway here. We've got Mr. Zelensky really speaking for one of the very few times in this campaign about what he might stand for as president of this country. Then Mr. Poroshenko will speak, and then we're going to have a period of questions and answers.
And given the outcome of the earlier round of voting and the polling, it suggests that Zelensky is out ahead, out in front, despite having no political experience.
Yeah, to be quite frank, President Poroshenko needs something of a political miracle if he's going to pull off a win here. Mr. Zelensky, he won 30% of the vote in the first round, and Mr. Poroshenko got about half of that. And the predictions that we've had over the last couple of the weeks is that those people who didn't go for them are most likely going to go for Mr. Zelensky. He could get as much as 60 or 70%. So it's going to take something pretty dramatic, a huge disaster of some sort, perhaps in this debate, for that to be turned around. The numbers at the moment are very much against President Poroshenko.
And do we know anything of the detail of... Zelensky has spoken about rooting out corruption. Has he explained how he plans to do that at all?
Look, the central thrust of Mr. Zelensky's campaign, when he has actually done a campaign or had any sort of political substance, has been that he'll be new and that he will be different, and that President Poroshenko, who we can hear now, he's just taken to the stage to give his opening words. Basically, the criticism from Mr. Zelensky about Mr. Poroshenko is that he hasn't pushed reforms fast enough and that things haven't really changed as much as people expected after the street revolution of 2014. So Mr. Zelensky has, in pretty vague terms, promised to do more and faster, but we really haven't had much substance from Mr. Zelensky. And indeed, Mr. Zelensky has largely avoided serious interviews, debates like this, so people haven't really been able to put the difficult questions to him.
And Jonah, the outcome of this election will determine a crucial relationship, won't it? That of the relationship between Ukraine and Russia.
That's right. That's in the back of everyone's mind here. Ukraine is, of course, still fighting a war in the east of this country with a Russian-backed forces. So how any new president might interact with Russia is a crucial question. Mr. Poroshenko has gone out of his way to say that Mr. Zelensky is the preferred choice of Russia, of Vladimir Putin. He's put, indeed, the face of Vladimir Putin on some of his campaign posters suggesting a vote for Mr. Zelensky would be a vote for Vladimir Putin. So people are very much thinking in those sort of terms. But at the moment, Mr. Zelensky's message, when he has made one, has been that he'll be a unifying figure, that he will try and bring an end to the conflict in eastern Ukraine, and that he will not concede any grounds in terms of that occupied territory in eastern Ukraine, and will continue trying to get back Crimea, which of course Russia has annexed.
OK, Jonah, for the moment, thanks very much. Jonah Fisher there at the Olympic Stadium in Kiev, where that debate is just getting started.